Hey y'all, Coach Bradley coming at you, and we recently finished up a very successful high school baseball season here where I coach. And as a guy who does a ton of research before I add any type of baseball equipment to our equipment room, especially when it comes to baseball bats, I figured I would share some insights and information on 4 of the most popular bats in our bat bag this last season. Now what I got over here is the Goods by DeMarini, as well as the Voodoo by DeMarini. And then over here we got the Louisville Slugger Atlas and that Bonesaber hybrid 2-piece by Warstic. So today we're going to chat a little bit about each one of these bats, see if one of them might be a good addition to your arsenal as well. And besides the Atlas, the 2-piece Bonesaber, the Goods, and the Voodoo, we also had several other bats in our arsenal this season as well, including the Red Edition Cat 6, the Stinger Nuke, the 1-piece Bonesaber, the Easton Beast, and the Cat 7 Connect. Now, all very good bats in their own right, but definitely weren't swung near as much as these ones were over here. So first up, let's go ahead and chat a little bit about the DeMarini Voodoo. Now, if you're looking for a light swinging BBCOR bat that still has a ton of pop, the Voodoo is definitely not a bad way to go. Now, this is actually the 3rd Voodoo that we've had in our program over the last several years. We had the red one, which was extremely hot. We had the gold one that was also pretty hot, and now we have the brown one. Now, the reason that we've had a few of those is because those other ones did have some durability issues, but I gotta say, DeMarini's customer service is absolutely off the charts. The first red one that we had broke actually out of the warranty period, but DeMarini still honored it and sent us a new one. The gold one we had made it through a complete season, but then we had some issues in the off season. Again, DeMarini stepped up to the plate, honored that warranty, and sent us this one right here. We actually got this one in the fall. We put it through a whole winter season upstairs in our batting cage, and then this thing swung great all through this season, absolutely 0 issues. The one thing I will say about this one compared to some of the previous versions is that the sweet spot just isn't as big as like the red or the gold one. Still pretty decent, but just seems like it's a little bit smaller sweet spot. So although this isn't the best judgment of a bat, I'm a one-man show today, baby. So we're gonna at least hit some balls off the tee with these things and let you hear how they sound. Now, first up, let's go ahead and swing this DeMarini Voodoo. Now next up, we got the Louisville Slugger Atlas, and this is gonna be a 1-piece alloy. I always appreciate those just because they're very versatile, especially in places where you play baseball in cold weather like we do in March. Now, some things you should know about this bat. Number 1, it's got a huge sweet spot. It's got even more power, and the swing weight is fairly balanced as well. Now, we've had this thing for 1 high school baseball season and absolutely 0 issues with this thing so far. All right, let's go ahead and swing our Atlas. Now next up, we got the 2-piece Bonesaber hybrid by Warstic, and before we chat about this, let's pull out its little compadre, the 1-piece Bonesaber right here. Now this bat is 2 years old. When we first got in our program and got it in the cage, I noticed 2 things. Number 1, small sweet spot, and number 2, this thing ripped up your hands every time that you swung it. Unless you hit this thing right on the button, it was gonna ring your hands up. Now compare that to this, and it really is no contest. This thing's got a huge sweet spot, a super even balanced swing weight, and it's got a ton of pop as well. Another thing about these Bonesabers is they're gonna kind of have this little tapered handle. Some people like it, but it's just kind of a personal preference. The last thing I'll tell you about this bat is it's been through 1 of our high school baseball seasons, and so far, 0 durability issues at all. Hey, let's get a few hacks in with the Bonesaber hybrid. And last but certainly not least, we've got the DeMarini Goods right here. Now, a couple things about this. It's got a huge sweet spot and it's got a ton of pop, but it's also gonna be a little bit more end loaded. So for your smaller kids, this might not be the BBCOR bat that they should be swinging. With that being said, I got a team full of contact hitters, not really a bunch of power hitters in the bunch, but kids just love to swing this thing, man. It just feels good in the hands and it feels great when a ball flies off this thing. Now, another thing you should know about this is I've heard of some durability issues, but this thing went through a whole off season as well as a whole high school season, just getting a ton of work, and we haven't had any issues with it at all. All right, let's go ahead and swing the Goods. Next up, let's go ahead and judge these on a couple different criteria. Of course, this is unscientific, just kind of stuff I've observed as well as swinging them myself. And the first thing we're going to talk about is sweet spot. So the bat with the biggest sweet spot, I believe, would be the DeMarini Goods, followed next by the Bonesaber, then the Atlas, and rounding out in last place would be the Voodoo. And next up, we'll go ahead and talk about power or pop. Again, very unscientific, but I've got the DeMarini Goods in first place, the Atlas second, the Bonesaber Hybrid in third, and the Voodoo in fourth. And last, let's go ahead and take a look at swing weight. In this one, I've got the Voodoo in first place, being the lightest swinging bat. Then we've got the Atlas in second, the Bonesaber, and definitely coming in dead last in this would be the Goods. So as we close this video out, go ahead and take it for what it's worth. It's simply one high school baseball coach's opinion on 4 of the top BBCOR bats on the market right now. Now there's a lot of factors that go into purchasing a bat, including what size you want, if you want something end-loaded or more balanced, how much money you want to spend, and is the company going to stand behind their product if something goes haywire. Overall, I would recommend all 4 of these bats, as I think you're getting a good value for your money, and I know at least DeMarini stands behind their product. So with that being said, I hope this video helped you out, and we'll see you next time.